So once you have your head sculpt the way you like it, I'm going to use my clay build-up brush and a tool called Weave to create the eyebrows. I'm going to look at the way her eyebrows run and make it similar on my sculpt, which means my eyebrows are probably going to run up here and then down the side. So I'm just going to grab my clay build-up brush and just lightly follow that path. I think with my eyebrows I'm going to angle it a bit more. At this stage you're more or less modeling to your heart's content until you're happy with what you're looking at. So if you've got bushy eyebrows, model yourself some bushy eyebrows. If you've got some slender eyebrows, model slender eyebrows. Do what makes sense for your character. I'm going to decrease and just go the other way. Decrease even further. Look at my character. I kind of want my character to have a bit of a wild look, so I'm probably gonna bring these eyebrows way up and then down in a really sharp corner. Just in case you're wondering, we are veering away from realism, the semi-realism we've been doing, and venturing deeply into stylized. This is where I'm going to start bringing my character to life. So once you're happy with your basic sculpt, press B, W to bring up your Weave tool. Your Weave tool is just fantastic for hair, because it makes these neat little scratch marks if you're using the correct alpha. I find if you're using Weave with alpha off, it's nothing. Weave is dependent very much upon the alpha, in my opinion. So I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use Alpha 07. Actually, I might use Alpha 08. If you look at the difference between Alpha 07 and Alpha 08, Alpha 07 is quite blotchy and it's got different weightings on its dots. If I use Alpha 08, it's a bit more joined. The blur in the alpha means that I'm going to get less distinctions between the dots. So I'm going to grab Alpha 08. I'm just going to run over my eyebrows lightly. If you're wondering where this sits in character design, this is detail that we would bake onto our occlusion maps and our sculpting maps. It's effectively we're modeling shadows for our normals and our cavities. PCB, I'm just going to build it up again a bit. And just so I'm just going to turn on line fill and just show you. This is our low res version, a lower res version. That is our higher res version. We haven't lost any detail because we're using subdivisions. So I'm fairly happy with those eyebrows. They're good enough. Moving on to the hair design. The way we're gonna, you could build up your hair as normal using, clay and just sculpting it out, or using your move tool and sculpting it out, and then you weave. But I like to keep my tools separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the extract tool to pull out this part of the hair, not the ponytail. Nothing that gets extruded is going to be drawn out. It's going to be the base of the head, and then these jags along the side. Don't forget, you can go off symmetry if you want to do an asymmetric hairstyle. I'm going to turn on my symmetry because I want the hair symmetrical so far for now. So once you feel ready to extract the base of your head, using the extract function that we've used before, just pull out a height of hair that you are comfortable with, remembering that you can alter it later on. So when you're happy with it, hit extract. I'm going to set mine to 0.5. I'm going to set it at 0.2 and I'm going to build it up. I think rather than smooth all this down, I'm going to leave my feathering on. So I'm going to clear the mask of my head, remembering that I've got a mask on my base skull. So I'm going to up this model. Just be careful that your backface mask is on. I want to do the same with my smooth tool. Just smooth out your hair. Remember, you can use smooth stronger if you need to. Now that I have the base shape of my hair, the tools I'm going to use are my clay, Damien Standard, my clay build-up to get a bit of distinction. I've also used my weave tool at the very end to give myself the details. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Preferences, Config, Enable Customize, because I find I'm using backface mask so much that I want to have it in my UI, so I can just click on it at will. I'm going to get my brush, go down to backface mask, Control Alt. I'm just going to drag backface mask down here, so that when I want to click it on and off, I'm just going to select it. Now, the actual design of your hair is up to you. However, the process for making it is generally the same. You want to start by producing large chunks of hairs, which you then separate into peaks and valleys. And finally you add details once you have the general shape of your hair. In my sculpt, I make the bulk of the hair by using the clay and clay build-up to lock out the shape of my hair, and then use Damien Standard to mark out where the peaks and valleys are going to go. Then to divide it into clumps, I use a combination of clay tubes, Trim Dynamic, and Damien Standard to sharpen up the valleys and the peaks of the hair. Finally, to make the details, I layer clay tubes and clay build-up. This gives a little bit of detail for the hair while adding a framework for the smaller details, which I generated by using the Weave and Damien Standard. However, as I say, what you do for your character sculpt should fit your designs. This is just a general guide that I see used. To make the ponytail, I'm going to create a new mesh cylinder, and from the cylinder I'm going to extract out the ponytail itself. So navigate to your subtool menu, Insert, and select Cylinder 3D. Now, I'm not too happy with the geometry of this cylinder, so I'm going to navigate down to Initialize. Now, if you're familiar with Maya or Max, the Initialize is the equivalent of setting a shape's edge loops when you're creating a shape. The 6 buttons detail what shape you are initializing. It could be a cube, a sphere, a plane, or a cylinder aligned to the X, Y, or Z axis. X, Y, and Z detail how many edges are going to be created along these axes. I'm going to set my divisions to 10, 10, 10 and initialize a Z cylinder. Once you have this, you can position the cylinder where you want it to join the head, and this is going to be the base of my ponytail. Beyond that, the creation of the ponytail follows the same process as the creation of the hair, so you guys should be able to produce that already.